Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Negative Alpha Bravo. And this is 7 November Golf. Roger, request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out. November 8 to 5, and 8 5, 7 November, say again. 7 November, go. I copied while ago, 1 Charlie transmission that my thing used, November, go, 1 Charlie, and 8 5, this is 7 November, Charlie. Now 1 Charlie, 7 November, go.
This is 1 Charlie, reference to your last, you're Brandon 158, extra 5 o'clock, 1200 between teams, and local. Also request your unit take inbound message to see if we can try to get Whiskey 9 and 8 for pause. It's a pleasure.
And this is 7 November, Roger, stand by.
Got that.
Got it? Alright. And all units, this is 7 November Golf. My unit Alpha, Echo, X-ray Alpha Alpha in there.
One Charlie, Alpha Bravo.
Yeah, I never took a dip. I forgot to take a dip.
Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9, Yankee, 7 November Golf, over. Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9, Yankee, 7 November Golf, over. Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Negative Alpha Bravo. And this is 7 November Golf. Roger, request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out. November 8 to 5, and 8 5, 7 November, say again. 7 November, go.
All right. Let me know if audio is good. I'm streaming on both YouTube and the TikToks on my phone. Not a huge TikTok person, but whatever. We'll stream it because we have access. All right. Let's getting awesome. Okay. Audio is good. All right. Starting with the very, very top. USMC Big B says, "What's up, Clay? Hope you're well. I am good. Today I had brunch with James and Hannah. Hannah from Salary Transparency Street. If you watch the podcast, James is who I hung out with. We are real life friends, good friends. So today's a great day. As far as you, USMC Big B, and your claims go, I am working with 2 people right now. If any of them bite back, I'm probably going to refer you to them. They are, one of them wishes to remain anonymous. The other one is an accredited attorney. And so, who seems very, very solid. So just so you know, USMC Big B, that's on my radar. It's actually my number 1 priority as of right now. I'm just trying to get you to the best person. Let's see, TikTok's nothing crazy. All right, looking at the next question. Funhouse says, I reviewed 3 denial letters. All said I did not have a Nexus letter. Can I put another supplemental claim and just send the Nexus letters with them? Based off of what you have here, you absolutely can. I would like to see those Nexus or the decision letter prior to recommending Nexus companies to you. 9 times out of 10, it's not needed. But if you have the in-service events, you have the current diagnosis, but the C&P examiner failed to do, that's really where an IMO and a DPQ will come into place or come into play. If that's the route you want to go, I want to know what conditions those are for. I may recommend 1 or 2 companies. But before I do that, I would like to see the reason for denial in the first place. It's Bug says, "What's up, Clay? How's it going? I just responded to your email. It's Kyle Blackwell about my back. Hey, I'll get to your email. For everyone else out there, if you want one-on-one help with me, just send me an email, and I will answer your questions at TheCivDiv@gmail.com. I've been doing a lot of emails lately. It's much easier and faster for me to do that. But yeah, if you want one-on-one help, send me an email. As far as one-on-one meetings go, I'm still up in the air about that, if I'm going to dive into that. I started this channel on doing everything for free, and so not charging for disability advice at all. The problem with that is, everyone wants one-on-ones with me, and I can't spend 8 hours a day doing one-on-ones, so email is the way to go, um, for the record. Alright. Government Lackey says "Hey, Clay, what's up? Do you need to have a civilian doctor say they reviewed STRs if you are claiming a secondary condition that started after service? This is for DBQ." You absolutely do. In fact, I would argue that if your one-time visit from that civilian doctor does not explicitly tell the VA that they've reviewed all of your records, so your service treatment records, your VA medical records, or your C file, all of a sudden that doctor's opinion on the DBQ becomes really, really small because they don't understand the full picture, right? And so if you have a DBQ where your provider did not look at your evidence, that is not a DBQ. That's not a good DBQ under any circumstance at all. Louis Coin says, "Present and accounted for." What's up? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate it. I'm looking at my TikTok stream here. Moo the Barber says, "With secondary claims because of side effects from meds with a Nexus, I was likely to win a claim." Yeah. So basically, Moo the Barber, the most common example I can think of that is if you have erectile dysfunction, if you take medication for mental health, it's a very, very common secondary to have erectile dysfunction or ED, which is SMCK, which is about $128 extra per month on your Right, True Crime says, "Hi. Hi, what's up? I always see your comments. I appreciate that. Thank you very much." Davis Angstad says, "Thanks for doing these Q&As, Clay." Hey, do I know you in real life? Let me know if you want 24th meeting, David, and I'll let you know. True Crime says, "Thanks for all the good videos." Hey, I appreciate it. I try really hard, I promise, to give the most accurate information in a very short, clear, concise manner. Miguel says, "Did you see the new M21 update about CMP exams?" I have not. If you want to send that to me, please do. How new are we talking about? And if it's a result of the OIG reports that came through based on CMP exams not being that good. We can say that as a blanket statement. Let's see. Government Lackey says, "Best advice on the tube. Keep going." Hey, I really appreciate that. I really do try my absolute best to give the most clear, concise information as possible. Lou Quinn said, "What's happening? You're going in and out." Ooh, let me know if that's the case. I will turn my gain up. Hold on. Okay. Maybe I'll just scoot closer to the mic here. See, the mic is weird because it's kind of angled. Whatever. Let me know if that's better for you. True Crime says, "Out since 2001. Should all primary conditions and secondaries have a nexus?" Well, they all need one, okay? Whether that's from a CMP examiner or a private doctor, you will need a nexus for every single claim. Because there are so many, it feels overwhelming having an easy time getting DBQs for free, though. Hey, if you're having an easy time getting DBQs for free from your VA providers, that's absolutely the way to go. As far as reaching out for medical opinions, since you've been out since 2001, it really comes down to this true crime with the psychic goddess. First, I want to know what your evidence from service looks like. That's going to be most important. What does your evidence from service look like? Do you have a current diagnosis? And the third question I want to know is, do you have the evidence there for a provider, whether that's a CMP exam or private, to make the Nexus? The Nexus will be needed for every single claim, and that's really the main question I have for your situation. Florida Marine says, regarding hypertension, all right, what tests do I need to have completed and provide to the VA along with Nexus Legend? Yeah, so you need multiple high blood pressure readings within the same day over a period of time. The more you have, the better. If you are on medication to sustain your blood pressure, that's definitely going to be the way to go. Awesome, wood gas, appreciate that. Yeah, but looking at hypertension, the thing about hypertension is the most common rating for hypertension is 0%. If you look at the systolic ratings and the top and bottom number of hypertension, it has to be pretty high, and it's definitely a condition you don't want. If your medication sustains you, that automatically rates 10% on its own. And the point I want to drive home is it's only 10%. And so, one, there's a few questions I have. One, is that 10% for hypertension really going to raise your rating? And if so, a medical opinion in DBQ might be the way to go. If it's not, so if you're at 88%, rounded to 90, and you're fighting hypertension, and let's say you just hypothetically are service connected for that at 10%, that 88 is gonna be 89, and you're still gonna have a 90%, right? And so really, is it worth it? Yes, you want to be properly rated, but if we're talking about independent medical opinions here, which is your question, that's really what comes to my mind, at least. Philip Castro says, waiting for my appointment with Dr. Sharma for secondary PTSD, and I have 3 appeals at okay. Will that will be spin separate because I have been waiting for 2 years? No. So I think your question is, can you file all those appeals at the same time? And the answer is yes. The question I have for you is, do you have the evidence for each appeal? That's really the answer to the question, right? That goes for any claim. When is it time for you to submit a claim? And the answer is when you have the evidence. That's what the intent to file is for. You let the VA know, hey, I'm going to file for this. They give you an entire year to gather evidence, which is the in-service event, the current diagnosis, and the nexus. You get those. And when I say nexus, I mean not medical opinion. It can be a CMP examiner. That's what the intent to file is for. So get your evidence ready. True Crime says, I don't like to email and overwhelm you. To me, I'm sure I may send, hey, the email is open. If you want help with VA claims, send me an email. Everything I do is free at TheCivDiv@gmail.com. Right now, I don't want to show the screen because I don't want people's emails flashing. But right now, my email is sitting at 38, which is good. Yep, 38 exactly. Yesterday, the last 2 days, I probably answered about 180, maybe 190 emails. So yes, my email is overbooked, but I get through them one at a time. Jeremy Finnegan says, is it better to have headaches secondary to anxiety or have it in a claim by itself if it is well documented on medical already? Yeah, so basically, when you're looking at any claims, we'll talk about migraines specifically because that's your question. But when you're looking at any claim, if you're trying to go direct or secondary, it's gonna be determined by your in-service event. And so here you say medical records. I'm gonna assume those medical records you're talking about is actually your service treatment records. So if you have evidence from service of migraines, that right there is a very, very easy direct claim. Now, if those medical records are from the VA and you've been out of service for 2, 3, 10, 15 years, you might wanna start looking at migraines, headaches secondary to something else. maybe tinnitus, maybe anxiety, maybe something else, right? Neck pain can cause migraines. Now the question is, those aren't end all be all check in the box. The question is, does your tinnitus cause your migraines? Right? Because someone with migraines or someone with tinnitus who has migraines might have migraines because they don't drink water, right? So to speak. It doesn't necessarily mean if you have tinnitus, you automatically get migraines. You have to prove that with medical evidence, and a C&P examiner or a private provider will have to make the nexus, the medical opinion, that your migraines are caused by your tinnitus. So it's not a end all be all check in the box. Big timer here says, "Been pending for decision for weeks. What's the average time?" Yeah, big timer. If you are pending for decision, I would suspect within the month. As far as what's the average time, there's not a single I want everyone to listen here. Everyone listen to me. There is not a single person on this planet that can give you an accurate time as to when your claim will be finalized. Not a single one. There's tons of factors, number one being your medical evidence and what that looks like. Remember, the VA has to go through your evidence, gather it, siphon your evidence, have the C&P exam, look at the examiner's opinion with your evidence, look at any contradictory evidence, then the VA rater issues the decision. And there's a VA process all tied to that. It could take 3 months, it could take a week. I've seen it in 5 days, I've seen it in 9 months. All right, let's look at TikTok here for a second. I've never made another claim after my EA claim. How do I start? Well, Jay, I want to know. And I have tons of questions as to what your situation is, but how do you start? It's going to be looking at what it is you want to claim, and if you want to go secondary or direct, gather the evidence. And Ryan Patrick says, "Just had my first appointment for PTSD." He said, "They're sure I qualified. It was through VAS or VES." Well, one, your C&P examiner doesn't make the decision, but we know C&P examiner's opinion heavily weigh in. So it seems like your C&P exam was good news. All right, Evan Almighty says, "Have you ever heard of any reevaluations? Is it a common thing?" Yes, I have. I was reevaluated, okay? Looking at mental health coming out of service will be reevaluated. It is common. It depends on what exactly we're talking about. When did you get out of service? What claim are we discussing? Have you been seeking treatment for that claim? I've seen someone go from 100% PTSD rating who missed their or not missed, who just clearly didn't go to their C&P exam when it was reevaluated, and then they were given a 0%. So, yes, I've absolutely seen it. Jay says, "Clay, thanks." Hey, you're very welcome. "With those supplemental and tinnitus and ED claim." Hey, I'm glad it helped you out. Welcome. True Crime says, "Have my headache DBQ already," which is easy. All right. But looking at back and neck DBQs, it looks more technical. It is definitely more technical. The back DBQ goes into tons of range of motion tests. It'll look at various diagnoses like IBDS, muscle spasms, lumbar strain, degenerative arthritis, all kinds of stuff. It'll look at radiculopathy, nerve damage to the sciatic nerve, and down your legs. Do you think a private provider would be hesitant about filling one out? True crime, it absolutely depends on your medical evidence. A private provider will fill it out, especially if you're paying for it. That will happen. The question is, what does your evidence look like? Yep. Awesome. All right. Brian Patterson says, "Thank you, CivDiv. I had 3 C&P exams in the last 2 weeks, so I'm anxious to get a decision." Hey, I'm wishing you the best. Okay. David Hank says, "Not in real life." Yeah, okay. We've messaged a few times, gonna try and catch you in Austin sometime. I'm an old head. Yeah, the next time I'm in Austin, Texas, I'll let you know. It's a very common place I travel to, and we can meet in person one-on-one, and I can help you out if that's the route you wanna go. Louis Quinn says, "Everyone please hit the like." Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's something I always forget to ask. Sir Jeremy Green says, love to see vets sticking together and spreading knowledge. That's what it's all about. Next Level Cash, hey, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate that. Go Cats, I see you. Miguel says M21 Part 4, subchapter section G, report reschedule. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that for sure. Angela Corsino says retired. Can I claim TDIU? You can if you qualify. So TDIU, and I'll actually share my screen for TikTok. I'm actually live on YouTube as well. I'm going to be sharing my screen here, and I'm going to show you the requirements for TDIU, just so we're all on the same page, and there's no way someone can be misled here. All right, let's go ahead and Google TDIU VA. Retirement, does it have anything to do with it? It's all about active and passive income, but to even qualify for TDIU, we're looking at these things. You have at least, make sure it's right, you have at least one service-connected disability rated at 60% or more, or 2 or more service-connected disabilities with one rated at 40%. Then there's an and statement, so it's not an either or, it's and you can't hold down a steady job. This one, looking at your comment, Angela, it's the second one that might keep you from that, assuming you do rate this first bullet here. But that is for you to decide. There's no reason for you to tell me that information on YouTube. All right, Railroad Man, I love your name. He says, if I don't agree with my flat or IBS claim, should I have a private doc fill one out or an HLR? And if I do, will I have to do another CMP exam with QTC or private DBQ be sufficient? Yeah, so one, if you add any new evidence, it's automatically a supplemental claim, okay? I'm assuming you were rated for flat feet and IBS recently. When I say recent, I mean within 1 year. That's what would make it a supplemental claim. If it's past that 1 year mark, it would be an increase. So that's first. Your second question is, will you still be required to do a CMP exam? There are so many factors that go into that. If your DBQ is complete, meaning the expertise is there, that provider reviewed all of your records, the remarks section is solid, and all of the severity of symptoms are the DBQ is complete, then no, you should not have a CMP exam. But as we know, especially as of the OIG report of 22, definitely show the VA scheduling and contracting unwarranted CMP exams. So shame on the VA for that. Shame on the VA. Next Level Cash says, apply for VRNE. How come there are so many horror stories about getting denied? Yeah, because VRNE is subjective, right? It's not really based in policy like VA disability is, although there are horror stories of getting denied for disability, obviously. VRNE is subjective. There's going to be a caseworker for your case, and they will determine if you rate the employment program. See, the VRNE is not like the GI Bill, where GI Bill you get to go to school. VRNE is about giving you employment. And so, do your current skills, are they hindered by your disabilities? And if that answer is yes, then you go to VRNE, which is an employment program, not an education program. Keep that in mind. Thomas says, glad to be here. Thanks, Clay. Thank you very much. Dwayne Perez says, did a BDD claim 105 days before my retirement date and haven't received my claim results. Retired 31 July. When should I expect notification? Yeah, Dwayne, I'm glad you asked that. So you retired 31 July, and you're asking when should you get your disability decision? And I want you to listen to me very closely here. There is not a single person on this planet that can answer your question. I hate that answer, but it's true. So there are tons of factors that go into that. You've retired, so you have 20 years, I'm assuming. which probably means you have a ton of medical evidence, and the VA's got to go through all of that. And so that's probably what the holdup is. I'm not sure if you've had C&P exams for every single claim that you submitted. I'm assuming that's a no because you haven't received a decision yet, but that's the truth of the matter. It's probably going to take a while. Angela says, glad to be here. I'm glad you're here. Appreciate you coming to the stream. Let's see. User on TikTok says, can I have a private doctor write my DBQs and ask the VA to make a decision off of that versus taking C&P exam? You can, what's up, Keith? You can have private DBQs, but you cannot request not attending the C&P exam. Tons of factors are considered when the VA schedules C&P exam. Okay. So if you do provide a private DBQ and independent medical opinion, it doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to have Keith, I'm not sure what that means, but I appreciate that. Okay. I'm new to TikTok. By the way, YouTube, I'm streaming on TikTok, and TikTok, I'm streaming on YouTube. My first time doing that. We'll see how it goes. All right. Government Lackey says, got a Vera virtual appointment scheduled for September 4th, which is Labor Day. What are the odds that my phone will ring? Yeah, that's a great question. Hopefully someone, if they scheduled it, feel free to reschedule that if you are worried. You're cutting out bad. I don't think it's the mic. Maybe bad connection. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. That's like the third comment I've seen. I might have to go back and watch the stream and see what my connection is. And I might have to buy a 40-foot Ethernet cable and plug my laptop in direct. That might be the answer. Omnar says, hey, what's up? Appreciate it. Seymour Breezy says, have an exam coming up for knee strain, instability. Yep. I have prescribed knee sleeves. Does that automatically mean 20%? So the range of motion will still come into play, but yes, you are prescribed an assistive device, and that will, assuming service connection, you should expect at least a 20% rating. If not, you know to do a higher level review and make sure you give your evidence of your prescription to your knee brace. GSF says, waiting to call Quality Health on Monday when they open. Thank you for the speedy email. Yeah, GSF, I wouldn't call them. I would just email them directly. They get tons of veterans that reach out to them. And so you're going to want to send that email. That is qualityhealthcontact2@yahoo.com. Surprise, and this is kind of news to everyone. There are 2 nurse practitioners that we're going to have live on September 21st. So I'm very looking forward to having them from Quality Health. And we're also going to be streaming on Del K. Graham's YouTube channel. And Del K. Graham is an accredited BSO. So there is going to be a BSO answering questions on Del K. Graham's channel. I'm going to be advertising that on my channel, obviously. But stay tuned for that. If you want answers from an actual accredited BSO rep through Del K. Graham, definitely don't miss that. That's going to be next Friday, whatever date that is. Michael Stout says, would it be worth it to go after sleep apnea, migraines, hypothyroidism as secondary claims when I'm at a soft 90, 87, and yes, I'm having diagnosis for all these? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're sleep apnea with a CPAP is 50%, that's going to get you, someone do the math, it's going to be 92, 93%-ish. If your migraines are 30, that right there is 100%, right? And so, yes, I do think it's worth it. Depending on, you do mention these as secondary, depending on what that looks like, I want to know what your evidence is. You might want to consider an independent medical opinion for that. Do you know if Quality Health provides multiple diagnoses for one next letter? Nope. So they do. Quality Health does 4 conditions within the same nexus. That's really the selling point of Quality Health. That's my favorite aspect of that. And so you can have up to 4 conditions you want to have a independent medical opinion for in DBQ. And so you're definitely going to want to take advantage of that. if you lose percentages, can you get it back? Yes, you absolutely can. You're going to need hard medical evidence, and you simply put in for the increase, right? So if your PTSD goes from 70 to 30, you can put in one, you can appeal that decision. Let's just hypothetically say that time is gone. You can always increase from 30 and up. What did you say at your reevaluation? Yeah, Evan, it actually was a ACE review, ACE exam. And so they looked at my records because I left the Marine Corps in 2019, was rated for mental health. I put in some other claims in early 2020, and that sparked me getting my mental health reevaluated. It was an ACE exam, and you know what I did? I had healthcare. I seeked treatment, talked about my symptoms. That became evidence. That is what solidified my rating and what ultimately got me PNT, to be honest with you. True Crime says, "Did my letter of intent in February, didn't do any YouTube research until last week, and decided to submit my application on August 18th, and the next day realized I should have waited to compile more evidence." Not a big not a big deal with true crime. You always have the supplemental appeal within 1 year. Knowing that, you should absolutely gather evidence, for whatever it is you want to do. Alright. F0 Buff Nipple, which is a hilarious name, says, "Clay, you could be chilling at the beach, but you have a mission. Thanks for your dedication and all you do for people who deserve better. Never become complacent. Bless you." Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I was actually at brunch earlier with James and Hannah. If you saw a podcast, that's the James I'm talking about. I'm not a beach person. My wife is. I also live in DC, so there's not really any beaches near here, but there's a Potomac River. All right, looking at TikTok real quick. Let's see. Poe Daddy says, "Going through a med for PTSD. I've already completed CMP exams, claimed PTSD, sleep apnea, and about 20 other things." Hey, if you're going through a med board, that's the absolute best time to make claims. It's actually gonna be a, IDES claim or IDES. Right. Omnar says, "The VA ignores your evidence and hires an out-of-state independent doctor for IMO that counters you. From my current experience, my only 2 in-person exams I won, not my personal exams I lost." Yeah. You're not wrong, okay? I wouldn't say it as a blanket statement, but yeah, the VA is going to contract you out to a CMP examiner, and that CMP examiner, whether you like it or not, is going to give you a diagnosis, is going to, look at the severity of your symptoms, and most importantly, this what trips everyone up, is they're going to give a medical opinion on your condition being connected to military service. That's really where people get denied at, which is why you see the power of a private opinion in a DPQ. It's not always needed, okay? But there are certainly times where IMOs and DDPs come in clutch. True Crime says, 5 days after filing, August 23rd, I received my call from QTC for a CMP exam, and they stated that VA is telling them that all exams have to be done in April or less. I should know about. Yeah, there's a lot of, policy requirements for CMP examiners. Unfortunately, and you can look at the OIG reports that they just posted on their YouTube if you follow OIG about the VA. Very apparent that the VA and CMP contracts are not following their own policy. Very, very clear. She told me I could call the VA and let them know. Yeah, it sucks. It's definitely not good. Louis Quinn says, "Everyone hit the like." I'd appreciate that, Louis. Thank you very much. Okay, remind me a few times. I definitely appreciate that. All right, I'm also streaming on TikTok, and so let's look at Robert. He says, "Why is VA moving non-PACT Act claims to then denying them?" Yeah, so they're not looking at non-PACT Act claims to PACT Act. It's probably gonna be TERA, TERA, is toxic exposure. And so all it's not PACT Act, it's definitely gonna be related, to No, I did not mean to. It's like, dude, I don't know how to work TikTok, to be honest with you. I just invited someone. Hopefully they don't show up because I don't know how to get rid of them. Whatever. We'll leave that be. We will leave that be here. Let's put this right there so you can see me a little better. All right. Thomas Keys says, as for static conditions, as for static conditions going for 100% P&P, I get confused because most conditions should improve with therapy. Not true. Medication, surgery, etc. So what would qualify for a static condition? Thomas Keys, one, this is like questions they ask in med school, okay? So you're going to want a medical doctor to answer this. I'll give you my take on it, and this is from Dr. Sharma. There are some disabilities that are generally considered static, and when I say static, it means they are unlikely to improve over the veteran's life. So if you have severe bipolar disorder, that's probably not going to improve. Schizophrenia, probably not going to improve. If you have a 40% for IVDS in your lower back, bones aren't gonna magically heal, right? So generally speaking, those are gonna be, non-static conditions. Static conditions. The most common condition that is not static is actually gonna be skin conditions. So I'm rated for acne, okay? If you can see, I have a little bit right here. I have one little thing right here and maybe one right here, up here. I'm gonna wash my face a few times a day, and that's gonna go away, right? So that acne condition does heal, and that's a very good example of it healing fast. So skin conditions, generally speaking, not always, generally speaking, are not gonna be static. Um, yeah, Thomas, you're gonna want a medical doctor. So you're gonna want someone who goes to med school to answer that question for you because that is way above, any volunteer of any VSO's head. Happiness says, "Just got a decision on supplemental claim in 2 weeks and paid." Hey, so prime example, this person submitted a supplemental claim and got a decision in 2 weeks. It was probably fully developed, and that's what drove the decision. But congrats on your claim. Alright, LG says, "Bro Clay, what's up? Since our email, I got the DBQ done by the NP at no charge." Hey, that's great news, okay? Free DBQs are the way to go. So I'm going to file the sleep apnea claim once I get my CPAP. Thank you for the advice. Hey, I'm looking forward to it. Depending on that decision, because I know the sleep apnea will put you at 100. If that's denied, let me know, right? And we will probably look at someone else who's not an NP, maybe a physician, maybe a psychiatrist, someone who went to med school. Right, True Crime says, "I couldn't believe I called for a C&P exam within 5 days of submitting my claim, and they literally wanted me to be seen within 1 day." Yeah, that's the wild. I can't tell you how many veterans I've seen who submitted their claim and on Saturday was notified of an appointment on Monday, and you do not want to miss those C&P exams. This is important for everyone. Do not miss your C&P exams, okay? If you are going to miss an exam, call the company, do everything you absolutely can to reschedule that exam, not through the VA, through the contracting company that is a C&P exam. So QTC, VES, or LHI, which is now OptumServe or some weird stuff. Brightaz, I'm not sure I said your name right, says, "Thank you for your advice." I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's see. My husband's C&P exam was quick. Oh, yeah. There are some definitely quick, C&P exams. User, I'm also streaming on TikTok, YouTube. So user says, "I have friends who asked VA to use DBQs from private doctor and didn't attend C&P exam when we're done with the rating. Is this fraud?" No, it's not at all. It's not at all. Do I help you with claims one-on-one? I do. Send me an email, thecivdiv@gmail.com. I do my absolute best to get to each and every one. I spend a lot of time doing this. All right. So if you want help with your claim, you send me an email and I got you. All right. David says, "I have document back issues in my service treatment records. However, I suffered an injury post service and had surgery." Okay. I believe the lower back injury from service, at least in some way, caused a back injury grantable. Yeah, this is difficult. Okay. So basically, you have evidence of your back from service. Um, you hurt your back at some point after service that requires surgery, and you make that claim. I think you can. You can. The argument is you do have in-service events. You're going to need that. The counter argument is, well, what do they give the rating for, right? Is it your post-surgery residuals, or is it based off your normal range of motion? That is a question that, to be honest with you, I can't answer. The CMP examiner is definitely going to have a tough time with that one, but I think you at least have the argument there. Wayne Key says, are scars on both service-connected wrists from surgery is considered bilateral? They can be, okay? So if you're looking at bilateral claims, it's mainly your joints, right? So right wrist, left wrist, your elbows, your shoulders, your hips, your knees. You'll see bilateral tinnitus. That's not a bilateral rating at all. So generally speaking, looking at scars, it could be, especially if a large portion of your body covered, right? So you have a scar from your right wrist, a scar from your left wrist, that would be considered a bilateral factor, assuming those are compensable ratings. Most ratings for scars are 0%. Question part 1. Oh, we got a part 3. We got a 3-parter here, okay? So huge question from Seymour Breezy. Let's take time to read this here. It says, originally claimed nerve damage for back numbness, tingling, weakness, loss of use, issues with daily function, personal, work, family, claim denied. And again, in 2022, as radiculopathy, lower extremities, got it, was also denied. A supplemental in 23, so 3 years now, as secondary to back with supplemental on 095, requesting, yep, do I need to resubmit? All evidence again in quick submit. I just finished my, it wouldn't be a bad idea. His question is, do I submit my evidence in the third supplemental? It's not going to be a bad idea. You're definitely going to want to submit your new and relevant evidence. And when I say relevant, it has to combat the reason you were denied. And so that's really what I want to know. Why were you denied on the first go around? Why were you denied on the second go around? And whatever your evidence is has to combat that reason. Johnny P says, great channel. I appreciate that. Appreciate that TikTok. So Mitch says, was just diagnosed with chronic leukemia. What does the VA rate this? Cancer is not dog. Yeah, if you have active cancer, it's going to be 100%. Once it's in remission, then the residuals are looked at. So you'll be rated off of residuals. Are migraines considered part of the PACT Act? No, they're not. They can be rated under TERA, and that's under a MUCMI. You'll see that primarily in like your OG Iraq dudes. So one of my good friends that was in Iraq in 03, he has migraines as a presumptive condition under TERA, and TERA is kind of incorporated. It's a weird thing. Happiness says, the back pay does not seem right. I have a billion new questions. Yes, the effective date is something that, appreciate that. The effective date is something that the VA gets wrong all the time. All right, True Crime says, I've been diagnosed for tension headaches and migraines. As a matter of fact, I have swollen optical nerves and high pressure on my brain because of it. My neurologist had no problem filling out BBQ. Good news. Next appointment, I plan on bringing my neurologist to Nexus. She can edit and sign. The only thing is, she stated she doesn't feel the tinnitus cause the headaches. She feels loud noises in the military did. Okay, it's still an in-service event. That's fine. Plan on bringing medical evidence that links tinnitus to loud noises, or she will agree to link the. Yeah, so the tinnitus will be the correlating factor. If your neurologist is saying that your noise exposure from the military caused your migraines, that's what you want to roll with. Okay, so that would actually be direct. Tinnitus is going to be a correlating factor. Okay. Same thing with like if you have sleep apnea, that could correlate to migraines, all those things. Stress, anxiety, that could correlate to migraines. But the big deal is you have a neurologist willing to give you an opinion. Whatever opinion they give you is what you want to roll with. All right. Desperado says, how often do they re-examine you at 100% PNT? They don't. I know people on TikTok and YouTube will tell you that they do, but that's full of baloney. It's full of shit, to be honest with you. They don't. All right. Ramon Arias says, I had a CMP exam, and all he asked me for was if I had a medication, and he sent me to get some X-rays and asked me how long it lasts or anything else. Is this normal? I want to say yes, it is normal, which is a bad answer. It really depends on what was the request the VA needed. That's question one. All right. And so the CMP examiner's first role is to fulfill that request by the VA. You did get X-rays. That's good. I want to know what medication we're talking about and what condition we're talking about as well. Jacob Bennett says, why can't I see this? If you submit a secondary claim, will the VA look into the disability you're making? Yes, they will. Yes, they absolutely will. You gotta make sure your evidence is absolutely solid. All right, first super sticker of the day from Jim Road. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All donations from the channel go right back into the channel to keep it alive. Jim, let me know if you have any questions. I will certainly get to those as fast as I can. Let me scroll down just to make sure I'm seeing everything. All right. Going back up to Kevin here. Kevin S says, should I pull my HLR for MH increase after CNP opinion saying no to increase before it's completed? File supplemental with private DBQ. To be honest with you, Kevin, what I would do is let your HLR ride, especially if your evidence is there to show the increase. If you are looking at getting a private DBQ for mental health, what I would do personally is wait for the HLR. Okay. Now, can you pull your HLR and submit supplemental? You absolutely can. It's up to you. That's not what I would do. All right. Louis Quinn says folks need to understand that the CMP exam is a mandatory requirement. Not showing up is equivalent to failure to go while on active duty. Absolutely. If you don't show up to your CMP exam, you definitely open yourself up to denied. The exception, my voice cracked. The exception to that is if you submitted a complete medical opinion and DBQ and the VA issued an unwarranted CMP exam. That's when that becomes in question. We have another super sticker, Brian Patterson. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you very much. $20 to the channel. I appreciate that more than you guys ever know. I always feel weird saying things like that. I absolutely appreciate every single thing that you guys do for the channel. Even just a view and a comment, that means a billion things. Ramon Arias says, sorry for sinusitis. Yeah, so looking at your sinusitis, medication is a part of that. So is here, you know what? We will look for those on TikTok. I'm actually on YouTube right now. I'm going to share my screen and show you what 38 CFR says about. I know I didn't spell that right. Just get over it. Okay. What 38 CFR says about sinusitis, and now that CMP exam makes way more sense. And I just hit X because I'm a big dummy. All right, let me pull this back up. Here we go. Are we on it? We are on it. All right, let's get rid of this. Sinusitis. Sinusitis. Here we go. Okay. The reason they're asking about medication is because, let's look at it. Detected by X-ray only is 0%. You're looking at incapacitating episodes, prolonged antibiotic treatment. So if that answer is no, then this is an or statement, right? So if you said no to antibiotics, they can automatically cross this out. And that goes for 10, 30, and 50%. And so now what they're looking at is, do you have 3 to 6 non-incapacitating episodes characterized by headaches, discharge, or crusting? If that answer is no, then it's going to be rated at 0%. And so my answer to you about sinusitis is, what does your healthcare look like? This is so everyone listen to me, okay? Everyone wants to talk about disability, right? Everyone wants that percentage that they want. Everyone wants to do everything they can to get the most disability possible, but no one wants to go to VA healthcare. No one wants to go to private insurance for healthcare. And I'm telling you that the dumbest thing veterans can do is not seek treatment. You have to seek treatment. Treatment is medical evidence, just like in the instance of sinusitis. If you have sinusitis and you have 0 medical evidence of antibiotic treatment, and you don't reach the 3 to 6 non-incapacitating episodes, whatever that means, it will be rated 0%, simply because you don't have medical evidence. You've got to get medical evidence. You have to get medical evidence. All right, Scott22V with a $10 donation. I definitely appreciate that. It says, the date of service on VA app does not match what's on my DD-214. I keep getting the runaround, getting it changed. Yeah, so one, don't take what's on the VA app as what's set in stone. The VA app is absolutely bananas. What matters is I would go through va.gov, make sure that information is correct. If it's not, what I would do is go to Quick Submit, upload your actual DD-214. I would upload, a personal statement of Form 4138, VA Form 21 Tax 4138. Talk about the discrepancies on your DD-214 on your profile. Let them know what the actual, what they should be, what they should look like, and then call the VA to make sure that they got your DD-214. That's exactly what I would do in that instance. But that sucks. I mean, it's definitely not a best answer. Lasara says, went in for increase in depression and examiner changes to PTSD. Is that a good thing? It's not a bad thing, right? PTSD is definitely more severe. It has depression and anxiety symptomology, whereas depression just has depression symptomology, obviously. All right. Looking at Bayou Gal, I like her name. All right. I assume Louisiana, the area, Alabama, maybe. GW Hub has prostate cancer waiting on decision, but should be PACT Act covered. If that's the case, pretty easy. If the VA does genetic testing and find it's familiar, the VA says not, yes, they absolutely can. And so let's talk about what presumptive actually means. This is something that no one talks about. Presumptive means the VA does not know where it comes from. It's just assumed it came from this, right? This being PACT Act, which is the Middle East countries in Africa for various medical studies. Same thing with terror, with toxic exposure, okay? What that means is if the VA does know where it comes from, that means it's not presumptive because they know where it comes from. So in this instance, yes, that could be denied on basis of it being hereditary. The question is this prostate cancer really hereditary? I don't know the medical studies on that. But that's really the main question I have. All right, Happiness says, turned into a fully developed migraine claim for an increase. I scheduled a CMP exam. My husband has a migraine diary, prescriptions, VA sent to acupuncture. Now I had a headache physical therapist, personal statements, buddy letter, crazy. Yeah. I mean, you have the evidence, though. That's a lot of evidence. That's a lot of evidence. So good on you. Cody Allen says, does it go to your original intent to file or your pay date for your first rating? It depends on when you left, Cody Allen. And so the first intent to file date is going to be when you left the military. Anytime after that 1 year is going to be your actual intent to file date. All right. Dave B says, hey, Clay, another live stream. We're here. I had some time. I had brunch with some very good friends of mine, Hannah and James. I had James on the podcast a few weeks ago. If you watched that, that's who I had brunch with. His fiance does Salary Transparency Street. So if you know that channel, that's what they do. And so, we talk YouTube and TikTok stuff all the time. I'm also day drinking. Okay. Ramon says, I had a CMP exam for chronic sinusitis, and all he asked me for was if I was on medication. He sent me for an x-ray. Does it sound normal? Yeah, I definitely already answered this. The answer is yes. We talked about sinusitis being rated at 10% with antibiotic treatment. So yes. But you missed work 4 times a year. That could be an incapacitating episode, right? Which would require antibiotic treatment. And so it goes back again. If you don't have antibiotics that you're taking, you need to seek treatment. That is medical evidence. Everyone always wants to talk about disability. No one never wants to get healthcare. Okay, healthcare is medical evidence. You need it. It's not an opinion. Right? It's a real thing. 910 Jedi with the $10 donation. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. All right. Thank you for all your knowledge in providing a younger voice for veterans on YouTube. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. How would you convince a veteran that's too proud to claim benefits to file for their benefits? Yeah, I would use the rental car example, right? When you go to rent a car at Enterprise, Hertz, whatever, and you return that bad boy, whatever dents, scratches, whatever's wrong with the car, you are now liable to pay for. Okay? It's the same thing in the military. Ideally speaking, you can go your whole career and not have anything wrong with you, and that's the goal. That's not the case, especially after a 20-plus year war against the global war on terrorism, okay? I myself went to Afghan and Syria, um, and so in that mindset, looking at someone who's too proud to make claims, I would just tell them, "Listen, you served, you deserve this, and you've earned it," right? It's not really an entitlement. You've earned it. Now, whether or not they take advantage of that, completely up to them, right? The majority of veterans are not rated and more so underrated by the VA, sadly speaking. All right, Happiness says they scheduled a CMP exam for an increase for TBI with the regular doctor. I'm gonna assume you mean general physician. They have an extremely detailed 3-page IMO from a PsyD. I hope that's a psychiatrist. They want him to fill out paperwork asking all the same questions addressed. So that's weird because for TBI, you really want a neurologist. The only other person I would argue that could really complete a DBQ for TBI is probably a board certified psychiatrist. The neurologist's opinion's still gonna hold more weight, but the psychiatrist is definitely there, especially if the TBI symptoms are similar, to thank you, Keith. If the, TBI symptoms are similar to the mental health symptoms. Alright, True Crime says, "I'm a Thea." Yep, I got you, don't worry. Now I had a question on here that I wanna see in TikTok real quick. Oh. Should you bring up missed days from work? Absolutely, okay. Someone asked about asthma, and I wanna know here we go. Soup Slayer, I know you. Soup Slayer says, "My asthma." Yeah, Soup. So 1, send me an email, okay, because I know you in real life. I'm pretty sure that that's you. Asthma is rated under the PACT Act. You've been to Syria. You rate PACT Act conditions. All you need to do is submit a supplemental appeal. That's pretty easy. That's it. There's absolutely no reason you should not submit a supplemental appeal. Yep, I got you. Don't worry. All right, looking at true crime, they say true crime with the fucking goddess says my VA pain management doc recently did an MRI on me and wrote in the notes that I have a history of lumbar and cervical radiculopathy. He set up epidural shots and gave me Tons of medicine, pain meds. Yep. Physical therapy. I'm not sure what radiculopathy's actual diagnosis. It's there though. You have complaints of that. I'm planning on seeing private orthopedic. DBQ, if you have any tips, let me know. Yeah, true crime. Everything you're doing is what you're supposed to be doing. My number one question is, what does your evidence look like from service? That is the most important question here. That's really what I want to know. Is your lower back service connected? If so, your radiculopathy claims are easy. If your lower back is not service connected, I really want to know what your evidence from service is that would lead an examiner to believe that your lower back condition is caused by service. Everett Robinson, my voice is kind of going out. Everett Robinson says, "Yo, Clayton, what's up? So being that there are so many bad actors out there, doctors and companies, is there a watch list for veterans to gain access to?" No. The rumor mill of there's this secret list that raiders have that are blacklisted is complete baloney. There is a shared Excel worksheet that you can find that is very old. It's prior to 2018. But no, there's no secret list. And I have some friends that are raiders. I have one that's a senior raider. That's complete baloney. It's not true at all. It's probably someone who hates for-profit companies like me. Okay, made the list, kind of spread this one over here. All right, Seymour Breezy says, regarding 38 CFR 3317, I don't know what that is. Off the top of my mind, I have diagnosis for fibro, bilateral ankles, tendonitis, IBS. What would be needed to show the third requirement event if it manifested during tour, but I only have post-deployment burn pit registry? Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, it's not like you have the in-service event there. It's not on the deployment specifically. That's a very detailed question. I love that question. But it's pretty simple. It sounds like you have the in-service complaints there. There you go. That's one of two. You need the current diagnosis. Those two together would lead to the Nexus. Let me know if I answered your question right. All right. Lefty Designs. If you are a VSO or something, please let me know. I would love to collab. I'm always looking for people to talk about. Now, it depends what questions you're answering, though, too, because some of them looks a little bit weird. All right. Captain Blueberry says, can you get a rating for ingrown toenails? Yes, you can. That's gross. But yes, you can, assuming it's service related. Right. Happiness says they rated my husband's degenerative disc disease, DDD, without a CMP and no range of motion. So is it service connected at 0% then? That's my question. Thomas said, why are VA providers so reluctant to give a diagnosis? I just released a video on this the other day. I got an orthopedic doctor and have a diagnosis in 30 minutes. I go to VA for PTSD support. They cringe when I mentioned, yeah, the VA is very healthcare focused, right? So they will give you medication. They will give you physical therapy, wherever that looks like. They'll refer you to a specialist. That's what they're focused on. They're not really worried about a formal current diagnosis because VA healthcare is VA healthcare. VA benefits is VA benefits. Okay. And that's it. They're not the two. So private insurance definitely comes in clutch when we're talking about actual VA benefits. Okay. Sadiq 30 says, I was denied service connected for sleep apnea secondary to anxiety. The CMP examiner gave me a negative opinion. That sucks. Can I resubmit a supplemental with a private DPP Nexus? Yes, you absolutely can. Looking at sleep apnea secondary to anxiety, you're going to want a very strong opinion, probably from a board certified psychiatrist. I'd recommend Dr. Sharma. Send me an email. I'll put you on the list. He's not accepting new clients right now. If that's the route you want to go, just shoot me an email. Let me know the situation, and we'll go from there. Wanda Davis says, do you need a Nexus for an increase? No, not at all. Not at all. You're already service connected. What's the opinion for? Okay. The only thing you need an increase is an increase. You need the symptoms that show the higher rating. You do not need a medical opinion at all. You do not need a private DBQ. You can submit a private DBQ. I do not recommend that, but it is an option. Samantha says, "I sent you an email yesterday." All right. I just sent you another one right now, what I'm thinking on using as evidence for anxiety. Thank you for having these live Q&As. They are so helpful. Hey, I'll get to your email. There's less than 40, okay, so I can definitely manage that. I answered a ton of emails, mainly 0, maybe 10%, because that's something that can be healed, right? You can get rid of your ingrown toenails. Gross. Right. Let's see. Whole conversations on the TikToks. If you want my okay, so for those of you on TikTok, if you want my answers, okay, come to YouTube, let me know. I'll answer. VFW accredited VSO. Hey, you, lefty, reach out to me, send me an email. I would love to do a live Q&A with you. I'm serious. I'm on YouTube right now. You can check it out if you want to see the format. But I'm always down to do live Q&As with the VSO. I volunteer for VSO out of Oklahoma. I'm in the DC area. But I would love to do that if you're down. But now that I know that, I feel way more comfortable. Thank you for that. Thank you for being in chat, answering questions. All right. Beep Donald 4S Worker 1. All right. Wild name here. Hey, it's confusing to understand, but not knowing. I've been dealing with being so close to not wasting my time anymore. No one understands me. Mental illness is real. It is. If you have a question, let me know. I hope I can point you in the right direction. Feel free to email me to TheCivDiv@gmail.com. We can go from there. Pain and need with normal range of motion could be rated at 10, could be rated at 0. All right. True crime. Yesterday, I was officially diagnosed with GERD. Last year, I was diagnosed with PTSD and MDD. So I'm thinking if I do this, all right, that should be close to 100%. GERD is closely associated with anxiety. It's the stress in the body that really causes the GERD. Side note, if you have IBS, which is also presumptive, IBS and GERD share the same rating, so it might be easier for you to do the IBS route, unless your GERD is more severe than your IBS symptoms. OG, got that. Ruben says, "How do I claim sleep apnea secondary to chronic sinusitis? I've been diagnosed with severe obstructive sleep apnea, and you have a CPAP. Oh, you have sinusitis at 50%. Yeah. Whew. So this is awesome. Sinusitis is a pretty strong primary service-connected disability for sleep apnea, much, much better than PTSD, in my opinion. How do you claim it secondary? With the secondary claim, that's it. I honestly wouldn't recommend a medical opinion for this. Sinusitis is gonna mess up your respiratory flow, especially at 50%. A sinusitis rating for 50% is severe. It's gonna mess up your respiratory flow, which is gonna cause you to not breathe properly when you're asleep, or be a mouth breather, okay? So I think it's a pretty easy claim. I would submit that without a medical opinion. All right, Josh Wade says, "Should I start going to the doctor to get diagnosed with things for C?" Yes, you should, Josh Wade. Yes, you absolutely should. Okay. TKJ says, "What's up, Clay? What's up? I appreciate you and Dr. Sharma. 100% PMT with no CMP exams." There we go. Prime example, TKJ. I'm glad that helped. I'm glad that investment paid off. I'm happy for you. I hope that relieves the financial burden on you and yours life. Seymour and I'm glad I was a part of that process as well. Seymour Breezy says back radiculopathy. Thoracolumbar is rated at 10%. Radiculopathy was denied first time as direct since it manifested while in guard status. Second time was denied, claiming it was sciatica. So if your thoracolumbar spine, which I believe is your upper back, I want to know how your upper back is causing sciatic nerve damage. That's probably why it was denied. If we're talking about the lumbar region, which is your lower back, that's really where you're gonna see, sciatic nerve damage or radiculopathy in each leg. David says, "Any experience with Lyme disease claims?" Yep, we get you 100%, until it's not, until the residuals kick in. Chad F says, "Sir, zero evidence. Just got my 70% a couple days ago. Waiting on a couple other things, which will put me at 100. Thanks for your videos and the Lord Jesus Christ for letting me find you." Hey, I appreciate that very much. I'm glad you're at 70. I'm looking forward to your other claims. Hopefully, they push you over to the Hundo Club. Okay. True Crime says, "I submitted all of my conditions on primary last week, even though half of them were secondaries. Don't see a way to edit." Yeah, I would just call the VA. That'd be my advice. Call the VA. They will change your claims. It's gonna take some time, but it will happen. Scott22V says, "The dates of service on," oh, we talked about that. Yes, don't worry, I got you. Seymour, another question, got notated by VHA and VA community, L30 was causing. Yeah, but your upper back is what's service connected, not your lower back. Um, Unless you're saying your upper back condition is causing a lower back condition, which is causing your sciatic nerve damage. At least that's, unless I'm missing something, that's what I see here. Deep says, "If I can't find love, why am I by myself? I hate depression." Yeah, me too, a little weird. If you have a VA question, you let me know, I'll help you out. Samantha says, "I'm working on building evidence, currently working on sending a secure message to my VA doc about my signs and symptoms related to my conditions so they can be put into my notes. How would you recommend I write that?" Hold on. Working on building evidence, you're looking at a secure message to my VA doc, signs and symptoms related to my conditions. What conditions we're talking about? Okay, that's the first question I have for you, Samantha. If we're talking about migraines, such as hypothetically say, I'm gonna talk about all my symptoms. I'm gonna talk about how often they occur, um, when they've occurred. I'm gonna try to provide 6 months of symptoms that I've experienced within that message, to really drive the point home. Oh, true crime, I don't see that. I don't see that at all, unless I missed it, if I didn't, because 'cause I'm looking at it. Yeah, I don't see that at all. Alright, Richard says 100% P&T for an acquired psychiatric disability, just requested aid and attendance. Hey, good for you. I'm happy for your P&T. Good luck on your SMC. Hey, not safe feel or her taste. What is that called? Ramon says, "I'm using the nasal rinse and nose spray prescribed by the VA. Is this considered medication?" It could be. Absolutely, it is. Um, did you talk about that during your CMP exam? Right? 'Cause I don't know, but yes, it's prescribed medication. Um, Now, it's medication, is it antibiotic? That's the question. Because the 38 CFR for sinusitis specifically states antibiotic treatment. Okay, sorry. I saw this guy. I was like, seeing an email. Hey, appreciate that. I'm looking forward to doing that collab. Just answering veteran questions, is the way to go, for free, of course. Um, Rick Rick Rod says, "Just requested aid in attendance. What are my chances that the VA tries to prove that I'm incompetent? I'm 100% P&T for 34 years." Yeah, I wouldn't say incompetent, right? If you need aid in attendance, if you need it, it'd be very apparent. Now you are 100% for mental health alone, I think. So it could be very, very real that you require aid in attendance. I wouldn't sweat it too hard. To answer your question, though, I'm gonna need to see some evidence prior to giving you a very accurate answer on that. Happiness said, um, they said it's a TBI, general physical CMP. It could be a neurologist. Hopefully, that's what you get, Happiness, for TBI. I will true crime for sure, don't worry. David Sturgeon says, "Are there any ratings for random eye blurriness?" There are tons of conditions for or tons of ratings for eye conditions. For example, you can see fine. Yeah, absolutely. The answer is yes. The question I have for you is, what is your in-service event? Because that's really the question. We have a $10 donation. I thank you very much. I appreciate you, Brother Clay. I appreciate you. All donations go right back to the channel. I'm using StreamYard, which is $240 just to use, so I definitely appreciate that, very, very much. Where are we at? Alright, Happiness says, "Is QTC good, better than Optimum Serve or LHI?" When it comes to contracting companies, all of them are good, okay? They all serve the purpose, like, they won the VA contract. The question is the individual examiner, right? So it would be bad if we said all of QTC sucks because there are examiners in QTC that are good. And so it's not, is QTC better than LHI? It's really the examiner that you're seeing on an individual basis. Um, State, I'm just gonna call you State. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that. I was ADCEP for having mixed depression and anxiety. It says it's a condition and not a disability. My Navy psych told me I could get medically separated, but 6 months minimum that time can file. What is your discharge? Okay. As long as it's not dishonorable, you could probably file. Even if it is, it sounds like you have I forgot what it's technically called. If you were ADCEP as a result of your mental health, you can absolutely file for mental health at a minimum. I'm assuming you don't have a dishonorable, and so you'll probably be good. I don't know what my evidence looks like. It's been over 20 years. Yeah, that's a very common issue in veterans. Alright. DDD is 10%. Is that normal to not measure? Yeah, so when it comes to back conditions, lower back conditions, it's not the diagnosis that gives you the percentage, right? So if you have degenerative arthritis in your lower back, you have muscle spasms, you have lumbar strain, if you have degenerative disc disease, if you have IBDS, none of that is indicative to what rating you're gonna get. It's gonna be based off of range of motion. So how far can you bend forward? How far can you bend back? They're gonna look at side to side and then rotations. And based off of those measurements is how your back is gonna be rated. So if you're asking, is DDD 10% normal? That's not, the question is, what's your range of motion, okay? And normal, the VA will take your age into, they will account for your age. So for instance, I'm 30 years old, almost 31. Um, my range of motion is probably gonna be more than someone who's 70 years old. And so that range of motion is relative. So they're gonna account for that too. So it depends on age, what your relative range of motion looks like. True crime says had toe fungus on a couple toes since I got out. Each time got meds to treat it. Do you think toe fungus? You can. You absolutely can. The thing is, that's treatable, and it's probably gonna be rated at 0% because it is treatable. It does heal. Okay. But yes, you can absolutely claim toe fungus, ingrown toenails, a bunch of stuff with that. Says hello. What's up? Hello. Jason Grice says, got a haircut by the way. I usually have long hair. Now I don't. It feels kind of weird. All right. Jason says those with ratings for pes planus or plantar fasciitis, so flat feet and heels, get tarsal tunnel secondary if they're feeling numbness, burning. Absolutely, absolutely you can. Okay. Cardinal Beagle says, how is a disability calculated after an increase? Oh, here we go. Going from 50 to 70, is it the new rating 70? Yeah, okay. So let's say your mental health is at 50%, then it goes to 70%, okay? One, the real question is, what is the change to your overall rating? That's the question here. So if that 50 to 70 makes you go from 80 to 90 overall, if the effective date is October of last year, you will get backdated from 80 to 90 because that's the overall change, um, from October of last year to whatever today is. Okay, so that's how that works. Tom Myatt says, "Can I have that doctor's name again for secondary to sleep apnea?" You can. What I want you to do is email me because he's not taking new clients right now. I'm gonna add you to a list. His name's Dr. Sharma. Email me at TheCivDiv@gmail.com. His email is gonna be prashant.sharma2@concisepsych.com. He's not taking clients. Send me an email. I'll put you on a list. Don't worry about it. Okay. Preston Hansen says, "I had a confirmed diagnosis finally for sleep apnea." All right. When I made my claim, I was denied because of lack of evidence. Is it better to start a new claim or fight it? Yeah, there's no starting a new claim. Okay. Once you're denied, you have to do an appeal. I'm assuming, Preston, you tried to claim sleep apnea direct. If you don't have a sleep study, that's going to be denied. Two, which means you have to go secondary. A secondary sleep apnea claim, I don't care what people tell you on YouTube, it's not easy, right? PTSD does not cause sleep apnea. There's definitely correlation, there's no causation, right? So when you see an opinion of saying PTSD causes sleep apnea, they're medically incorrect, right? The VA knows this. What you need is multiple correlating factors. So you have PTSD, you inhaled heavy particulates from burn pits, you have weight gain, you're on medication like gabapentin. Now, all of a sudden, you have 4 correlating factors that could at least give you an at least as likely as not, okay? If you see a statement saying more likely than not for sleep apnea, it's just any person that went to med school is gonna look at that and say, "Baloney. Baloney." Alright. Chris Drexler says, "80 watching, go ahead and hit the like button." I appreciate that, Chris. Definitely hit the like button. I'm at 3.5K on TikToks here. I don't know what I am here, but, it'd help me out if everyone could hit the like button. Okay. Yeah, you're up. So Seymour, your upper back is rated at 20. Unless there's hardcore proof of your upper back, your thoracolumbar spine up here is causing lumbar conditions, which is causing sciatica nerve conditions, then you could get radiculopathy or neuropathy in your legs, service connected. You're gonna have to look at your lower back first. Whether that's secondary to your upper back, whether that's direct service connection, whatever that looks like, you're gonna have to go that route first. Frank says, "How much does Dr. Sharma, charge per Nexus letter?" I think max is 800. Now, we talked way too much about medical opinions in Nexus letter. I'm be very clear, 9 times out of 10, you don't need them, okay? So prior to going that route, send me an email, we'll talk about your evidence. If you were denied and you have the evidence, then I might suggest to go that route. If this is your first time or you have the evidence and it's very, very strong, you probably don't need an independent medical opinion. So send me an email first. We'll cross that bridge together. I will point you in the right direction at least. Okay. Disgusted American female. All right. She says, late to your stream. Sorry if you covered this earlier. Is SMCT code hold the same weight as an ICD? No, it does not. I'm sorry, I said SMCT. It's SCT codes. Yeah, so SCTs are think of it for the purpose of this stream, an SCT on your blue button report, which is your VA medical record, is a diagnosis. Generally, what you'll see is the ICD, which is the International Classification of Diseases, that code you really want, and you'll see the ICD and the SCT. The SCT is a VA thing. It's how the VA categorizes your diagnosis. Okay, so to answer your question, yes, an SCT. SCT is a diagnosis. All right. Sir Noel says, "How do I file an increase for plantar fasciitis 10 to 20?" Yeah, you just go I'm gonna link a video in the chat, okay, on how to file increases. Super, super easy. For those of you on TikTok, if you wanna know, just head over to my YouTube channel. It's the same live you're watching right now. I'm going to link a video on how to submit for an increase. Super easy. You can do it online. You could reach out to a VSO. They will take care of all of that for you. The main thing is you're gonna want evidence. That's the main thing. But that's how you submit the increase. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right. What state are you in? Yeah, I am in technically Virginia. I'm just south of DC, very, very close to your I'm in the National Capital Region. I'm just south of DC in Northern Virginia. People in Northern Virginia say they're from DC or say they're in DC. I'm from Kentucky, but I live here in the DC area. Seymour Breezy, send me an email because there's like 6, 7 questions you have. I don't even remember all your other questions from about 30 minutes ago. Send me an email. I definitely want to know. We're talking about the back and radiculopathy. That much I do understand. I want to know how your thoracolumbar, your upper back, is causing sciatic nerve damage to your legs. That's what I want to know. All right. Happiness says for migraine CMP Tuesday. Does it matter that my hubby is salary and does not tell anyone when he's leaving? No, it doesn't, okay? You're gonna want so the economic instability is just half of the 50% rating. There's also an amount of prostrating migraines that's in the first half of that. So you're gonna want to describe the prostrating migraines. Generally speaking, for migraine claims, because migraines will come back at 0% all the time, I recommend, 1, seeking treatment through the VA. You'll get medication, that's evidence. 2, having a migraine log and sharing that migraine log with your primary care, that's evidence. And 3, that personal statement about your symptoms, how often your migraines occur, how long they last, and when you take the medication. That's what I want. That's me personally. If I'm helping someone submit a claim for migraines, that's the evidence I'm gonna recommend they submit with their claim. So hopefully that's you. If you haven't seen the exam on Tuesday, hopefully that's the evidence you're looking at. David says, "I'm still in the Air Force. Do I need an in-service condition?" You have it, right? Being active duty is your in-service event. So whatever it is that you complain about that you're seeing for, that you're diagnosed now, since you are duty, that is the in-service event. In fact, the best time to file claims is during the BDD claim process. Honorable, then for you, the answer is yes. Beep said to have rabies is to have babies. And what is milk? I don't know what you're talking about, brother. You're about 5 seconds away from getting blasted. Alright, send me an email. Okay, send me an email. Way too much information for me to take in here. Alright, Lefty Designs, thank you, you're awesome, okay? I love seeing other VSOs on social media, there should be more of them. Awesome. Alright, Eli Little says, "What's the basic questions I should ask before starting a CMP exam to know if the examiner will be fair?" That is an impossible question, okay? Second question, can I ask the examiner if the VA gave the directives before the exam? Yeah, that did happen, okay? When the VA makes a request to the contracting company saying, "Hey, I need this fulfilled. Here's what I need. CMP examiner, get this for me." That's what happens. It's literally like that. What comes with that request from the VA says, "Hey, I need all this stuff." The VA will also send that examiner all the evidence that examiner will need to find that stuff out, to include the in-person exam, okay? There's money involved, whatever. And so how do you know if your CMP examiner will be fair? One, you don't, right? And fair is super subjective. What you can do, the only saving grace for veterans is medical evidence. If you submit a claim without medical evidence, you're asking to get slapped, okay? And you will. You will get denied. You have to submit medical evidence, period. I cannot stress that enough. Submit medical evidence. That's exactly what you need. Louis Quinn says, "Before you leave." Yep, there we go. All right, not May, MSY says, "Hi, for headaches, I have only one diagnosis on my private medical records. Do I need to keep going to the doctor every time I get a headache?" Not every time you get a headache. I would start a migraine log. I would share that migraine log with your provider. A question I wanna know is, you have a migraines from private medical records. What is your headache migraine complaint from service? That's the biggest question, okay? If the answer is none, you're probably gonna wanna explore secondary. If that's the route, well, what condition do you have is causing your migraines? And that's really when you get into the weeds and it get complicated. Yeah, Seymour Breezy says, "Thanks for everything. Hope you're doing well." I'm doing alright. Appreciate that. My family's good. Anything we can do to assist or help you along this journey? There is actually. This goes to everyone on TikTok and YouTube. If you are confident in being in front of a camera, okay, I will write the scripts out for you. If you want to record a video, send it to me and post on this channel and make that a recurrent thing. I'm trying to build a CivDiv. I will give you the ad revenue for that video directly, okay? If that's something you're interested in, I really do want you to send me an email to civdiv@gmail.com. I think if we make CivDiv a team effort and give the best information we possibly can, I'll write the script if I have to, not a problem. That's my number one project I'm working on right now. I want to build this into a freaking empire. I'm serious. I wanna take over social media for CivDiv and just do everything I possibly can to get veterans the best accurate information. Eli Riddle with a $10 donation. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Um, all right. Are you on Twitch or Kick? Is that why you're not responding? I am on the YouTubes. There it is right there. I'm on YouTube. Um, Cam Hulk, I will respond to you though. Let me look at it. Cam Hulk says, "Is transgender really claimable?" Not, I mean, don't ask me that. We're looking at what led to that. Is there a mental illness involved? Is that service related? Can that be claimed? That's the question. Come on, don't. What's a good secondary to sleep apnea? Hypertension is one. All right. Sinuses, absolutely. Sinusitis, rhinitis, anything respiratory. Asthma, but asthma is going to be rated with sleep apnea 9 out of 10. All right. Okay. Going back to YouTube's. Going back to the tubes here. Secret Sauce, one of my favorite people ever, who's a dude. I remember I thought Secret Sauce was a girl, turns out to be a dude. Anyone that's wanting Dr. Sharma's help, buckle up and wait. I've been on the wait list since April. I did submit intent to file. I'm glad you said that. He's actually not accepting any new clients, and so he should be getting to you very, very fast. I will send him an email about you, though, specifically, Secret Sauce. And for anyone else that wants to use Dr. Sharma, one, he is the best in business that I will die on that hill. If you want to get on this list, send me an email. First, you probably don't even need a medical opinion, all right? Before we even cross that bridge, we'll look at your evidence. We'll look at if you were denied. We'll look at, is the evidence there to make the connection in the first place? And then I might suggest that, or I might not. Right? But if you are interested in that, send me an email. We will talk. Easy peasy. That's it. True Crime says, I'm going to have my weight gain caused by my lumbar and radiculopathy connected to GERD and sleep apnea. Your thoughts on that? Yeah, weight gain, it can be recognized by the VA. It can be service connected. What I mean by that is just recognized. And weight gain, alcoholism, things like that, aren't rated, but they are solid intermediate steps to like hypertension, sleep apnea, things like that. Brian Patterson says, "Can you help me get in contact with the guy, Ruben, that posts about sleep apnea secondary to tinnitus?" If you're here, Ruben, hit up Brian Patterson. He wants to contact you. All right, MK Ultra. All right, MK Ultra says, "Is migraines really a secondary to tinnitus?" It is. Secondaries to tinnitus are migraines, anxiety. You have other ear conditions like ear loss, Meniere's disease, vertigo, things like that. But migraines is probably the more common one. You will need a strong opinion on that, right? It's definitely not an end all be all. But yes, you can absolutely connect migraines secondary to tinnitus. $20 donation from Drew from Miami. What's up, Drew from Miami? I appreciate that. This former paratrooper rated 20% for lumbar strain. Been flaring up lately. Did an MRI, found disc protrusion. It was applying pressure on my sciatic nerve. Gonna file for increase. There's a few things you want to do. One, does your lower back, no matter what you're diagnosed for after this, irrelevant. Has your lower back decreased its range of motion? So bending forward, backward, side to side, and then rotation. Has that motion by degrees decreased? If the answer is yes, you're going to want to submit an increase. Follow on, you state your MRI shows sciatic nerve damage. What I also want you to do is submit a claim for radiculopathy left and radiculopathy right. That's 2 claims, secondary to your lumbar strain. So you have the increase, you have the nerve damage claims in each leg. That will be a very solid secondary. You have the MRI that shows that. It's a very, very easy secondary claim, one of the easiest secondaries, in my opinion. That's the route that you absolutely should go in your case. All right. Seymour, send me an email. Lots of questions I have. Is it okay to tell CNP examiners you can't bend at all without pain? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and they're not stupid. If you are faking the funk, they're gonna know, like, these people are not dumb, okay? You can't walk in there and say, "I can't bend over and walk straight," but then when you go sit in your chair, you bend over like that. They're gonna notate that, and you're probably gonna piss them off. So, when it comes to CNP exams, be honest, be open, be vulnerable, okay? Don't blow smoke. Be honest, be open, be vulnerable. That's how you get through your CNP exam. Chris Drexler says, "Hey, Clay, 10% tinnitus, 0% hearing, 70% for insomnia. I am taking a sleep apnea test. Is sleep apnea a mental health condition?" No, it's not. Sleep apnea can be secondary to anxiety, PTSD. That is a correlating factor, definitely not causation. Sleep apnea is 100% not a mental health condition. Migraine Buddy app is a good app. It absolutely is. It's even better if you share that with your primary care. Make that evident. How would I go about doing appeals? Jose, 1, what are you appealing? What's the reason you were denied? 2, you're gonna have to get new evidence, new and relevant, that, combats the reason for denial. Yeah, there we go. What percentage is a colonoscopy? We're talking about, irritable bowel syndrome. I actually have a video on IBS. It's either out now or it's going to be. On how IBS is rated, it's gonna be 0, 10, or 30. It's gonna be mild, moderate, or severe. It's not the colonoscopy itself, it's the symptoms of your IBS. Okay. Rex XBL says, "Can you tie urinary prostate as secondary to mental health?" You can, maybe more so on the anxiety and stress. You're gonna have to have a very strong opinion on that, but sure, you can. Squad Circle says, "I am in IDES for PTSD, but if I go to college when I get out, will my rating decrease?" No, I don't know who is telling people this, okay? It's baloney. If you go to school, GI Bill, VRNE, it will not open up your claims. I want everyone to listen to that again. If you use GI Bill, VRNE, it's not going to open up your claim, okay? You are in the IDES process, which means you're getting med boarded, you're getting medically retired. You're fine, dude. Don't even worry about that. All you need to worry about is getting properly rated by the DoD, getting properly rated by the VA, then planning on the next chapter of your life. Storm Vet says, "The CMP exam for sinuses. The examiner ruled against me because he said I was hooked on nose spray, although my VA doc gave me the prescription." That is weird, especially because you are presumptive for sinusitis. You should be rated for that. Now, nose spray is not an antibiotic, depending on what nose spray you have, so it could possibly be rated at 0%. That just depends. All right, let's do designs. I will get back to you. Thank you very much. All right, Ron McCarthy says, "Signed on with your organization to get the rest of my disability service connected. Monday is the day." That's awesome. For everyone, I'm a volunteer at Doke Graham Veterans Foundation. When I say that, I just make YouTube videos for them. That's well, but they are an accredited VSO. If you need help, that's who I'd recommend to go through. Cam Hulk, "How long does a claim take for the decision, please?" Yeah, you're gonna hate this answer, brother, because there's not a single person on this planet. Everyone listen to me, because this is the number one question I get. There is not a single person on this planet that can tell you when your claim is gonna be decided. Not a single freaking person. Not even a rater, not VA Claims Insider, not someone on TikTok, no one, okay? There's so many factors that go into that. One, what's the evidence you submitted? Is it fully developed? Is it a fully developed claim? Is there an opinion? Is there a DBQ attached to that? Who did your opinion in DBQ? Who matters? Are they complete? What does your in-service event looks like? Have you been diagnosed currently, meaning within 1 year? That's just a few questions. There are more factors that go into that. It could take a month, could take a week, it could take 9 months. No one knows, brother. Louis Quinn says, "Cheers, everyone. Have to go for now. Thank you. Appreciate you coming up to the stream." Dan says, "Hello. What's up?" David says, "Question. Do you know what a discharge diagnosis is?" And that can be used for claims. Yeah, whatever you're talking about. Being medically retired, being med boarded, what does that mean? If you're being separated for PTSD, then sure. I'm definitely gonna need more questions on that here. Okay. Alcoholism. Alcoholism, is that claimable? Yes, it is. It'll be roped under mental health. It'll be an intermediate step. But yes, it absolutely is. Can you get back pay on a dependent claim? No. I mean, you can on the intent to file of that dependent. So if you just left service, your intent to file will be your EAS or ETS date within 1 year. After that 1 year, a dependent claim is just like every other claim. Once you submit that intent to file, that's gonna be the back date. It can be backdated too. Can you go further than that? The answer is no, you cannot. CJ Browning says, "How do I submit for disability if I have nothing on my medical record?" That is the number one golden question every single veteran wants to know. How can you submit a claim if you have absolutely 0 evidence? CJ, 1, let me know how long you've been out of service for. That's the number one question I have. Okay. 2, I wanna know what you're trying to claim, because you may have evidence, although you don't know it. A deployment can be evidence. Certain awards can be evidence. Events that happened while you were active, that can be evidence, okay? It's not always gonna be a very formal pre-deployment health assessment. Young veteran says, "I'm in the IDES after 1 year of service at 19 for PTSD. If I decide to go to college, no. No, 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 no. The answer is no times 1,000. Whoever is telling you this, just punch them in the face. I'm serious because this question comes up a lot. You going to school ain't got nothing to do with your disability rating at all. It's not gonna be decreased. It's not gonna be open. Doesn't matter. Okay, whoever's telling you that, you send them here. We'll set them straight. Leo Gonzalez says, "I'm 93%. Rounding just round me up." Yeah, you're almost there. Depending on your bilateral factors, you need 10 or 20%, probably 20. Just depends. Will says, "Had I call exposure is evident, absolutely. Had a call from HLR rater and had pointed out that did not use my doctor's appointment from June 23 on my decision letter, said August of 22 to okay, but it didn't. Had ACE exam in June for migraine. Migraine secondary, now it needs to be exam." All right. Looking forward to that. Wishing you the best. There needs to be some leniency for older vets, okay? Because the vets nowadays have all this technology and information. I personally had no clue about VA compensation when I got out in 2017. You're not wrong, okay? You're not wrong at all. The VA is very clear that you need in-service events, you need current diagnosis, and you need the Nexus. Whether that Nexus is from a CMP examiner or private, that's what you need. Jolly Green says, "Just got 100% P&T. Will I get tested again in 5 years?" No, 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 you will not, okay? Again, whoever is telling people that your P&T is at risk, they're just doing it for views. I promise you, they're doing it for views, okay? There's a lot of, crazy titles and thumbnails out there on YouTube. They're absolutely doing it to get views. They're full shit. I say that very confident. Okay. Drew from Miami, another donation. I appreciate that. $10. He says, "The nerve pain is the worst when I'm standing straight up. I'm always bent over. The VA prescribed gabapentin, which helps a little, but the pain never stops." Yeah, so increase on back and your 2 radiculopathy claims, that's 3 claims. That's exactly what I would do. Drew, if you want help on that, send me an email. That's a very easy case. I would love to help you on that. Alright, JD says, "True crime." Alright, yep, awesome. I'd like to see veterans answer other questions. Des Sanford says, "I'm a Louisville fan. That's where I was born and raised." Awesome. Just had a TBI CMP. I think it went well. Would this rating pyramid with my migraines or PTSD rating? It could. So there's 3 things that can happen. Well, there's 4 things really. 1, not service connected. Let's not go for that. Okay. 2, your TBI is rated by itself. It could happen. Another option is you'll see PTSD with TBI, meaning your TBI symptoms and your PTSD symptoms are the same. You have migraines. Migraines is a very common symptom of TBI, so it could be TBI with migraines. Those are 4 options. Not service connected, by itself, with PTSD, with migraine. Re-evaluations are for trying to get a higher disability should be done as years go by. Not exactly, not at all, actually. Um, there's routine future examinations that the VA has been very lenient on this year, specifically due to an OIG report. I would say so. But if you are rated for mental health coming out of service, depending on if that's static or not, that will definitely be reevaluated. It's not necessarily for higher ratings. It could be for the opposite. If the VA deducts that rating, and it happens a lot. Rocky says, "What about for acne?" Acne is generally rated at 0% as it can be healed for sure. There's creams, all kinds of stuff. All right. If I am not answering your question on TikTok, I'm mainly focused on YouTube right now. please come to my YouTube live, and I will answer your question there much, much faster. All right. MSY says, for medical evidence for claims I'm thinking to submit as secondary, if diagnosed is noted on clinical notes by private telehealth, would it still count or wait list? No, it's good. If a doctor, physician, it's like a medical doctor, okay? If they say that you have this diagnosis and it's likely connected to tinnitus, that is phenomenal evidence, especially for secondary claims. Rex says, "Can you claim any secondary physical health issues caused by psych meds for service-connected obesity?" Yes, you can, absolutely. The most common, condition caused by medication that veterans claim is ED or FSAD for females. Female sexual arousal disorder, ED is erectile dysfunction. Mental health medication definitely causes these conditions. It's very, very common to see that. Alright. Ruben says, "Thank you for your help." Thank you. Appreciate that. Leo says, "Chronic fatigue syndrome, secondary to PTSD. Have you seen this?" I have seen this. Yes, you can. You're gonna need a strong opinion. That I am very sure of. Can shoulder pain be service connected? Yes, it absolutely can. The question is, what's your in-service event? Do you have a current diagnosis? And can those lead to a medical nexus? Connor Mass says, "I'm lost. Need to file, but I don't understand any of this. I already started my intent to file." Tell you what, Connor, send me an email. I'll help you out. Everything I do is free. TheCivDiv@gmail.com. That goes for anyone and everyone here. And I will help you out step by step of the way. Migraines, any tips to get a guaranteed increase? Yeah. No such thing as a guaranteed increase. I know you'll see people on YouTube and TikTok say, "Guaranteed this rating." I'm telling you, they're full of shit, okay? Now what you can do, TheCivDiv, THE, TheCivDiv@gmail.com. For migraines, what you can do, the evidence you're gonna wanna submit is, 1, a migraine log, okay? You're gonna wanna share a migraine log with your primary care, most important. You're gonna want to talk to your primary care, get medication for your migraines. If they are prostrating, you're gonna want medication, I promise. Now you have medication, you have a migraine log, you have a personal statement detailing how often your migraines occur, what medication you take, and how often you take medication, and that is the big 3 evidence you're gonna wanna submit with your migraines for an increase. YouTube, I'm gonna change my battery. Give me, like, 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Oh, man. Okay. Here we go. We're back. We are back, boy. All right. Okay, let's see. X Isle says, "Yo, I just got denied for migraines due to CMP exam. I have a Nexus letter that backs me up for service connection and everything. Really pissed me off. What's my next step?" Yeah. 1, you have a Nexus. I want to know who completed your Nexus letter, right? What condition is it secondary to, or is it direct? I have tons of questions. Send me an email, thecivdiv@gmail.com, right? And I will answer your questions here. We got some donos. Let's check it out. Vanessa, thank you so much, Vanessa, as always. $10 donation from Vanessa. I love you so much. Thank you very much. Let me see if you have any questions here. No questions yet. If you do, I'll definitely get to it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Vanessa, and then Chris Pablo, $10 dono says, "How long does it take for documents submitted on Quick Submit to reflect on VA.gov?" Yeah, within days. And the VA will give you a notification that they received your evidence. And if you're really sketched out about it, you can always just call the VA in the 800 number, and they will tell you if they received your quick submit evidence or not. Please don't tell me you're with Kentucky VA team, at least Louisville. Nope, I'm from Louisville. Okay, I actually live in the DC area, the National Capital Region. The accredited VSO I volunteer for is out of Oklahoma. They have a national reach, and so I do everything I do with them is tele appointment, right? And my main role there is to create YouTube videos. Awesome. Hey, if you want to collab, I know you're a VSO. If you want to answer live VA questions, send me an email to TheCivDiv@gmail.com. I would love to collab with the VSO. I'm on YouTube right now. That's my main platform. But absolutely, absolutely, yes, you need medical evidence. If you ain't got medical evidence, you ain't got nothing. Okay. If you don't have medical evidence, you have nothing. That's the motto I'm going to be pushing this month. If you ain't got, yep, no diagnosis, no claim. There you go. Solid, solid. No diagnosis, no claim. All right. Will says, my neurologist stated on my note at VA migraines were aggravated by sounds and tinnitus. Is that good for the claim to be evidence to be ignored? No, they're not going to ignore. The VA cannot ignore medical evidence. It goes right back to what we're talking about, right? TheCivDiv@gmail.com. It's on my YouTube. If you click my TikTok profile, you'll see my YouTube, and then from there, you'll see my email. But TheCivDiv@gmail.com. Back to medical evidence, the VA cannot. It's the one thing the VA can't ignore. And in fact, if they do, you have a higher level review process in your back pocket. Okay, they cannot review or disregard medical evidence at all. Period. All right. SAP says out in 2015, honorable ADSEP. Okay, so you were ADSEP for mental health. Family history mentioned during separation exam. Diagnosis is in my medical records. You think I need an independent medical opinion? Not at all. It's probably going to be an aggravation claim. I am never, listen to me here. I am never going to recommend someone get an independent medical opinion if they haven't been denied. Now, can you? Absolutely, especially if you have the money for it, and if that's what you want to do, go for it. But 9 times out of 10, veterans do not need independent medical opinions. Are they strong? Absolutely. You'll really see them shine in appeals. That's my personal opinion. I'm sure VA Claims Insider will say get the opinion and just I'm sure money hungry companies will push you to a independent medical opinion, but that's not the case, man. I promise. All right, Travis Warren says came from TikTok. What's up, TikTok? If you're here, I am more likely to see your questions if they're on YouTube. Okay. All right. Travis Warren says came from TikTok. How's the burn claims been going? Have mine in a few weeks. Yeah. So there is no burn pit claim. It's what are you diagnosed with? Is it sinusitis, rhinitis, asthma, bronchitis, IBS is a part of that. Asthma, I think I said asthma. There's some other features associated with that. And so whatever condition you're claiming, the VA will, 1, look at the diagnosis, 2, look at the symptom severity. For sinusitis, there's 0, 10, 30, 50. It looks at antibiotic treatment, it looks at incapacitating episodes and non-incapacitating episodes. That's what they will be looking at. And then as far if you rate the PACT app, the service connection is the easy part. It's the actual symptom severity that comes into play. Seymour Breezy says, what's your opinion on why the VA won't allow immediate access to the true rating code sheet? Yeah. This is a loaded question. It's asking my opinion on the VA's record keeping process. I think, in my opinion, I think it's extremely out of date. I think it's absolutely crazy. If I want results of my CMP exam, I have to do a FOIA request, right? I think that's insane. Um, I would like to see more transparency from the VA on that specifically, but we all know that's probably not gonna happen, my opinion. Yeah. All right, MU Goza says, "This may have been asked. Please explain 100% PT. Can VA decrease benefits?" No. No, 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 no. This is something I call a YouTube phenomenon, right? You'll hear people all the time talk about, the VA is gonna take your rating, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. Listen, if you're PNT, got nothing to worry about. In very minimal cases, right, the VA makes a mistake and they take away PNT. That's gonna happen within the first month or 2, always. That's rare. In cases of fraud, they're gonna take away your PNT. If you're not one of those 2, don't worry about it. Seek the treatment you need, get the help you need, live your life, don't worry about it. Explain IBS secondary to PTSD. That's a good one. So IBS and PTSD. 1, IBS is presumptive under Terror Impact Act first, okay? Meaning, if you have IBS and you rate Impact Act, it's a very easy claim. Let's just say that's not the case. IBS to PTSD is possible. You're really gonna but people, not veterans, people that have IBS generally also have GERD. These ratings are listed. Um, TJ, ask me a question, I'll answer you. I think that's what you're referring to. You have GERD. Okay. I'm glad you said that. TJ, ask me your question, I will answer it. I'll look at this until you ask me your question. You have GERD, and so you have PTSD. GERD, medically speaking, is very closely associated with anxiety and stress of PTSD. Much, much better than IBS is. It still is connected. Yeah, it still is connected, but GERD is more connected. Okay, so GERD's going to be the easier route. You still claim IBS secondary to anxiety, absolutely. It'll be IBS and GERD secondary to anxiety. A very, very common claim. The reason I bring up PACT Act is because if you rate IBS, much, much easier service connection versus GERD secondary. I'm not saying you can't get both, you can. The only time GERD is really worth it is if it's gonna be higher than your IBS rating. So IBS is rated at 0, 10, and 30, and so if your GERD rating is higher than that, yeah, there we go. PTSD can cause GI issues like GERD. Yeah, it's the anxiety that's really closely associated with that. TJ asked me a question, and I'll get to you. I apologize for that. I'm gonna scroll up. Maybe I can see you here. 1,000 hours of Marine Corps door gunner. My tinnitus has been denied for 10 years. I provided audiology evidence, still denied. TJ, send me an email, TheCivDiv@gmail.com. We'll look at your decision letter, and then we'll go from there. All right, back to YouTube here. Don't worry, YouTube, I'm here. SAP says I was also treated within a year of separation for diagnosis in my active duty medical records. I have been treated ever since. For what condition? Oh, mental health? Hey, submit the claim. Submit the claim. Okay. Clayton, WTF, don't you hook up a power source? Yeah, man. I've meant to go to district camera. It's all the way in Arlington. Forever. I just always forget to get a power source. I'm sorry. For those of you on TikTok, my camera on YouTube died. I had to switch battery. All right. Boone says, can neck pain be secondary to service-connected lower back and sciatica? Yes, or show the back. I now feel pain in one back rotation. It can be. You're probably gonna need a medical opinion for that. I would submit it without one, and if denied, I'd reach out to Quality Health. Exile says migraine secondary to tinnitus. Tinnitus already service connected. It's very possible. The question is your migraines or does your tinnitus cause your migraines? It's not the same for everyone. Antonio says, how do you help a Vietnam vet to file a knee claim at 0 now? Yeah, it's the same. I don't care what area you come from. Please explain Terra memo. That is the huge question. Toxic exposure. If you're exposed to toxins and have a current diagnosis, it could potentially be service-connected presumptive under Terra. That's the one-liner. It's a much, much more than that. Looking at Vietnam era, every single claim, I don't care what era you come from, needs an in-service event, it needs a current diagnosis, and it needs a nexus. That nexus is either going to be medical or presumptive. Okay? There's two types of claims, basically. You have your direct and your secondary. So the nexus is either going to link your current diagnosis to the military or your current diagnosis to your service-connected condition. You need those three things every single time. In-service events, current diagnosis, nexus. I don't care if you're Vietnam, Korea, Gulf War, doesn't matter. You need those three things for every single claim. So you want to look at a knee claim. I'm going to know what is your in-service event for a knee condition. Were you airborne? Did you have a complaint on your service treatment records about knee pain at your exit exam? I don't think they did exit exams back then. Vanessa, no questions. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Ruben says chronic sinusitis. I have amoxicillin prescribed to treat. That is an antibiotic. That's at least 10%. Steroid nasal spray, same thing. X-rays and symptoms go away, painful. Minimum 10%. It sounds like 30, to be honest with you, but minimum 10%. CMP exam should be pretty hopeful. To answer someone's question earlier, alcohol use. Yep, there we go. Boom. Antonio says recently rated for arthritis of both knees. Now file for bow leg problem, foot pain. Yeah. So it'll be range of motion will be the same how that will be determined. Berlin Bear says skull fracture surgery and hospitalized in Army for a week. Sounds like a serious concussion TBI. Have the Army surgeons report mild TBI, headaches, stinky place, all you do. That seems like a very, very easy, winnable claim. Hey, Dave Hockman, if you want to collab, let me know. I hope I said your name right. TheCivDiv@gmail.com. Send me an email. I am looking for people to do collabs with. Furthermore, if you feel like you can be good at content creation and want to post on my channel, I will give you the ad revenue directly. If that's something you want to do, that's what I'm trying. I'm trying to build a no shit CivDiv empire. Okay? I really mean that when I say it. And so if you're interested in that, if you think you can do it, let me know. I'll write the scripts for you. I just need people to make videos. All right. Awesome. Yes. All right. Willie says going to ER and tell the doctor to put in notes. Example, my migraines happens with ringing in my ear. Solid. Good instant nexus. So basically, what Willie is saying is if you're trying to go migraine secondary to tinnitus, what you could do is go to the ER when you have a migraine. Tell the provider that when you have ringing in your ears, you get migraines. That is creating medical evidence. How do I know this stuff? Long story. I have a podcast on where I explain that if you really want to know. But I used a VSO in Virginia at first. It sucked. I'm a nerd. I was infantry. My first 5 years, I was in the infantry. My second 5 years, I did psychological operations in the Marine Corps. A lot of that deals with reading policy and a bunch of nerdy stuff. So I got used to reading policy. I learned the policy myself. It's pretty simple, actually. Read 30 at CFR, read MT1 TAP 1. And then from there, I did my own claims, helped my friends, and now I made a channel out of it. Everything I do is free. I'm trying to anchor myself on that, okay? I absolutely despise VA Claims Insider. I absolutely don't like for-profit claims consulting companies at all. Nice shirt, thank you very much. It's just my thing, that's a personal belief of mine. I do monetize this channel through donations. I have a Patreon that speaks on my healthcare, what I do for my healthcare, that you can look at if you want. I do tons of emails, one-on-one meetings, all kinds of stuff, but that's what I do. Okay. Hi. What's up? I was just severed for sleep apnea after a home test. Please help. I'm supposedly waiting BS for a call, general exam. Yeah, so you did a sleep apnea claim, you had a home test. I hope you're diagnosed. The question is it direct or is it secondary? Follow-on question, if it's direct, did you have a sleep study in service? If not, I wouldn't be too hopeful. If secondary, secondary to what, and what are your other correlating factors on that? Sam Humpston says, "I have permanent nerve damage in my feet with plenty of documentation. Anything I need to know?" Yeah, what's causing that? Is it direct service? Is it secondary to lumbar strain? Do you have a foot condition that's causing nerve damage? Do you have a knee condition causing nerve damage? Is it your lower back and the sciatica nerve? What does that look like? "Hello, I've received a decision, and part of the decision was denial, as was did not participate in Terra." Yeah, that means that you don't rate the Terra, um, benefits for that, or I'm sorry, presumptive conditions. "Hey, I just got diagnosed with osteoarthritis. Can I claim that when I got out?" Yes, you can claim anything that you get diagnosed with in service. Those are pretty easy. "Thanks for your help, and I'm gonna email you." Yes, send me an email is really where I do the most work. I mean, live stream for sure, but email, I can get more information from you. So if you want me to help you, send me an email, thecivdiv@gmail.com. I wish there was some way I can put that on freaking TikToks. Um, but thecivdiv@gmail.com will help you out, okay? Jody, thank you for all you do. Thank you. Every single time you comment, I see it. I appreciate it. Thank you, Cliff. Appreciate that. Exile, I'm looking for that. Thank you. Brian Patterson says, "Why don't I see Ruben in chat? Is he on TikTok?" Nope, he was on YouTube. If he emails me, Brian, I have your email. I will shoot that to you. I don't even know what the question is, but let me know. Can I pin the comment? Well, I'll tell you what, someone comment thecivdiv@gmail.com. I'll try to pin it. I'll tell you this, I'm not a technical person at all, which is weird because I have my YouTube set up. I got green screens over there. I don't understand. It's just not me, right? I just do. I'm a doer. That's about it. Ooh, I can pin it. Yeah. Someone comment, thecivdiv@gmail.com. Okay, it'll help me out. Alright, Sergeant G55 says, "Found out I have that word of the lumbar spine." Okay, VAPCM. Says, "I've had it since birth. I asked if it was an X-rays and passed, and she said, 'Yes, must have been. Should I submit a claim?'" Yeah. I wanna know if you already have a lumbar condition. I don't see it in there, that's what you're asking about. If you have a lumbar condition, I wanna know, then it's an increase. If you don't have a lumbar condition, you obviously have a current diagnosis. I wanna know what your in-service treatment looks like for your lower back condition. Alright, Miguel says, "Not a question, but Albuquerque RO for Vera." Nice. "All officers' experience vary, but they've been amazing and super helpful." Okay, great. Paul says, "Going for 3rd CMP, same thing, high review." Yeah, man, I'll tell you this, you have 2 or 3 CMP exams, that sucks. It usually means a failure happens along the way, usually. Um, but absolutely. Did I see the video of VA Claims Academy where he blasted me? I did not at all. I did not. I know that dude, it's very clear when you ask someone a VA question and they don't respond accurately. It's very clear. If you respond with, "Well, here's what I did," Here's what worked for me. That's not understanding the process. The evidence isn't the same. The time frames aren't the same. The evidence is really the main factor. That's my issue with most people giving advice, is they don't understand the process. They try to say, "Well, here's what worked for me. Why don't you do this?" Um, and in reality, the evidence is so different, that it's not going to work at all. It's in my bio. It is in my bio. Thank you. Okay. You ever heard of New Life Veterans? I'm glad you asked that, Will. Someone in a recent video I posted talked mad smack on New Life. He charged him $3,500 and he sent him to a provider for medical opinion. This dude was at 90%. That medical opinion, although it was increased as planned, stayed at 90%. Solid example of not understanding the process, right? So now this veteran is one out $3,500 and the price of a medical opinion to go from 88 to 91 or 92, which obviously is 90%. So now you're out 4 grand for nothing. Okay. That's enough rain on that. I'd be interested in knowing what you're talking about, secret sauce. Okay. Would you be interested in serving as a consultant and coming up with strategies provided? No, I would not. So I do not want to charge. That's my biggest. I don't want to charge veterans for help. That's the whole point of this YouTube. You can donate if you want to. If you don't, I'll answer your question first come, first serve. That's the game plan. Um, I don't want to charge for one-on-one meetings, although it's getting really hard to do them, especially because I'm in a master's program now. But 16 months for ET before you get out. What do you do? So let's start from 1 year. At 1 year, if you're leaving the military, you need to seek treatment. You need to get complaints. Hold on. Yes, you're on stream. What's up? Honey, you're on stream. What's up? All right, give me 10 minutes. We got 10 minutes, guys. Okay. All right. Talking about active duty. 1 year out, just complain about what hurts. Okay. If it's your knees, you have mental health problems, migraines, sleep apnea, start complaining. You really want a formal diagnosis, but complaints are going to be good enough. Once you're 6 months out, you submit a BDD claim. You're going to write 2 lists, everything that you were seen for, everything that bothers you that you weren't seen for. Put those together, submit the claim. It sounds complicated. It's not. I'm going to make a video on BDD claims here very soon. So stay tuned. Subscribe to my freaking YouTube channel if you're not. Okay, sorry. I got 10 minutes to answer some questions, and then we will get out of here. All right, Yin says, "Know anything about AI claims?" Mine is 7 months old. I was told no one looked at it since February. Yeah, there's a huge backlog. That's about I hate that's the answer. There's a huge backlog. There are people waiting from November and December of last year. Mr. Swan says, "Any tips on how to speed up or help pending claims 6 to 12 months after submission?" Yeah, there is none. The only way to speed up claims, and I don't care what other YouTubers say, there's only one way. That is to submit the required evidence up front. If you don't do that, you just kinda eat it, okay? Um, but yeah, that ship has sailed, brother. Is it true claims can be revisited at any times unless P&T? Not at any time. You already have been for 10 years, don't worry about it. Um, those conditions are probably static. Even if they were reevaluated at 2 years or 5 years, they are now static because now you're at the 10-year mark. Don't worry about it, okay? Do I have to pay back separation pay? Yes, you do, E4 Mafia. Yes, you do. Try not to comment 100 times. I'd appreciate that. But yeah, any separation pay, you gotta pay back. Go Cats. can talk about. Okay. Charles says, if you're SMCS and they lowballed you on migraine 0%, would you submit more evidence? Yeah, it depends what your I would leave it alone personally. Okay. That's what I would do, but you don't have to. If that's the route you want to go. We have a dono. Drink that whiskey behind you. It's Black Label, the blend whiskey and scotch. I am drinking here. I had brunch this morning with a friend and his fiance, and so I was a little tipsy. I'm a little fine, but thank you, Jolly Green. Appreciate that. All right, medical records show I had bone scan and service. They stayed mild stress changes. Yeah, absolutely. You have the in-service event, you're gonna wanna claim this full position. Mr. JC says, when CFR designates a time frame in previous 12 months for a basis, what happens to the time frame when they schedule a second CMP exam? Yeah, don't the time still carries on, right? So as long as your evidence states that you have I think in the migraines, it's 2 to 4 months, I believe, whatever the time frame is, um, at your second, third CMP exam, which you should not have had, by the way, but that time frame still carries, and so if anything, you have more evidence. Alright, I think I'm going to end the stream. I had the wife call. If you're 100% PNT and still have QTC appointments, Justin, I assume you just got PNT and you still have other claims that haven't been rated. If you just left service, absolutely go to those, don't blow them off. It's not really a big deal at all. Alright, but I'm going to head out. I appreciate everyone that joined the stream. I appreciate everyone that donated, okay? All donations from streams go back to the channel. If you're on TikTok here, visit my YouTube, tons of information. If you're on YouTube, go to TikTok, show me some love. I'm trying to do the TikTok thing. I'm not really a TikToker dude, but that's me. If you have a question and I didn't answer you, email me at thecivdiv@gmail.com. thecivdiv@gmail.com. All right, let me end YouTube here.